Obviously, thought we started the game, really, really well, and thought we did a lot of good things, but, I think it was downhill from there. Very disappointing, Once again, it wasn't so much, you look at the stat sheet and we only had 10 turnovers, and, we did some good things, but we just get too much separation. Once again, the third quarter was the quarter I thought that was our downfall again, and I swear to you, I'm open for suggestions. If you guys have any idea or any ideas on what to do, because we've tried it all right now as far as the third quarter, getting out early, making sure we're warmed up, all of these things right here. I don't know why, and I can't figure it out, why we're losing our focus those 12 minutes, because and it's pretty glaring. We've gone over it in here and we've talked about it in here, but it's pretty glaring, the difference in the way we approached the game in the first quarter and the third quarter.
Yeah, Alvin, just obviously what happened in the third quarter speaks for itself. Did you see, kind of after that first spark in the fourth, did you kind of feel some of the wind came out of the sails of your team trying to come back in that?
Well, I think when you get yourself in that situation, it almost has to be a perfect storm, and there's really no perfect storms in the NBA. Occasionally that might happen, but I think we keep talking about being consistent in what we're doing, and once again, you can't play a first quarter where you score 39 and do a pretty good job, except for the last minute and a half. I thought we had played a great first quarter. And then you come in the third quarter and play the way you did. It puts too much pressure for you to be almost perfect from that point on to be able to get back in the game. We had a nice little run, cut it to, I think, 13 from 25. But then all they got to do is get a basket. and if you give up a basket, now you're back to, a little bit of a comfort level. So. But we talked to the guys about the fact that, we as coaches have to try to do some things and figure out some things to put us in a position where we're not going to, after the third quarter, have to try to make up all of these points or try to make up this big deficit that we have from the standpoint of trying to play perfect now fourth quarter. No one can do that.
Coach, the Kings did start the third quarter just a little bit better, but then, Kid calls a timeout and they made adjustments. But as Tyrese had pointed out when he spoke, it was routine. They kept doing the same thing over and over.
They ran the same play 6 times and scored on it 5 of them. A play that we had gone over in practice, by the way. And walk around today. And
when are we going to see that they can break those type of spells when they get in those type of funk where they just continue?
Well, we tried. I used 2 timeouts in less than 2 minutes. But at some stage, the performance on the court has to be the timeout. That has to be. You got to start to make up ground. And as I say all the time, when we get in those situations, exchanging baskets does us no good. Everything that we do has to be off of a missed basket or a steal or a deflection and a turnover. Those are the kind of things that you have to get back into the game.
Alvin, I'm just curious. I know personnel decisions, trades, all that stuff's not, in your purview. But if there was something you could add to this team, something you feel like would help, what would that be in terms of position or skill set or whatever?
I'll say to you the same thing that I said to the guys in the locker room. I think we have enough here that if everybody is engaged and locked in and doing what they're supposed to do, and I always include the coaches in that too, then I think we have enough to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Do I think we have a championship team? No. I mean, let's be realistic. But I do think that, you know, if we have the guys play to their ability and we do a good job in preparation and game planning and stuff like that, then why can't we accomplish what we set out to?
Alvin, I noticed toward the end of the game their tempers kind of flared on the bench again. Is that I don't really need the particulars or anything, but I was just curious in your view of things, does that show that there is that passion, that guys are holding people accountable, that there is that care about, or is that something that?
Yeah, and I don't even really know what happened or what you're referring to, but I do think that, you know, we have some veteran guys, we have some younger guys, we have some guys, you know, that's kind of in between. I think when you start to suffer disappointing losses like this is, you know, obviously, you know, they got a lot of people out right now, and I think that sometimes it does get emotional. But I mean, like I said, I'm not real sure what you're talking about, but you know, I know that it's very, very disappointing, the results of this game right here, and you know, I can only come in here and yell, you know, at so much. I mean, after that, it comes down to, you know, how are we going to correct it and how we're going to do it and how we're going to get everybody playing hard. That's what it comes down to now, you know. No more Newt Rockney speeches or anything like that. It's just got to be us, you know, coming together, players, coaches, management, whatever, and figuring out how we can get this thing going. Because, I mean, the one thing that I told them, and I said to you guys, if you look at the West, you know, I mean, obviously that's Phoenix, Golden State, and Utah, but there's not a whole lot of separation after that. And so we don't have to look at the scoreboard every night and go, oh, wow, I'm glad they lost or they lost. We still have our destiny in our hands. Our destiny is in our own hands. And so when you lose a game at home like this, it's tough, I'm telling you. It's really, really tough in that somewhere along the line, now you got to try to make that game up somewhere on the road, you know, to offset a home loss that you have. And the one thing I say this is that you got to give them credit, you know, because they came back and from the other night, and you know, the coaches did a great job with them, you know, preparing them. They moved Porzingis around a little bit more than they did the other night, and they found a way to make adjustments. We tried to make adjustments, and we just did not shoot the ball well at all. And I think that put added pressure on your defense.
Yeah, Coach. Marvin tweaked his thumb, came back in. Just wondering how he's feeling. And TD, we saw he was out with an ankle injury, and just wondering how he's doing.
Marv, everything came back negative. He went in and had it X-rayed. Everything came back negative, so I think he'll be okay. TD, it was one of those deals where he went out in pregame and shot and just felt like it was, you know, a little bit sore, and maybe he might need a day to get it right. So, you know, I think it's both of those things ended up being minor, and, you know, they'll be back.